I think about Daniel and the talents that him and the other Hebrew boys had. And if they had downplayed completely, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, they would not have been seen as the smartest in the kingdom. They wouldn't have been seen as so knowledgeable. They wouldn't have been seen as worthy. And then on top of that, the extra gifts that you had, the amount of times in the Bible that people were called on Daniel. When you think about Daniel and oh, his name's gone out, Joseph being called,
Mhm.
oh, wait, we need a dream interpreter. What if you were like, oh, do you know what? Even though I speak to God every day, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna rest right here.
yeah,
And it was like, get up. What are you doing? Get up because this is your breakthrough. This is the moment that you need to step up to show that you can do what I have assigned you to do. This is the moment where you show in the marketplace that actually you have the skills, you have the talents, and the fact that you're already walking in step with me is brilliant, which means that you are going to be led by me in that space. Welcome to the Raising Kingdom Builders podcast, brought to you by the Perm Legacy Foundation, a podcast dedicated to equipping and encouraging you to grow in God, walk in purpose, and live out your faith boldly. You're listening to an episode from Grow in God. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and empowered for kingdom impact. Let's dive in with today's hosts. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Grow in God podcast. You are here with your lovely host. I'm Shernorva,
Hi guys, I'm Akilia.
and we're really excited for today's episode because it's a fun one. It's a little bit different, but we know you're all gonna enjoy it with us. Please come along with us for this journey. So today is a green flag, red flag episode, and we're talking about statements for growth in humility. The scripture that we have for today is Philippians chapter 2, verse 3 to 4, which says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. And I think the interesting thing is, let's use the scripture to influence how we answer the questions because
And
yeah, so we can focus in. Guys, we're gonna do this in humility. Choose what would Jesus do? That's what we've got to think ahead.
what
What
would
would Jesus
Jesus
do? So first of all, we've got to talk about what have we got for our red flag, green flag today. So today I've got my red phone case and I've
do?
got my green cup. What have you got, Akila?
So I've got my cheeky red lip liner and
Oh,
I've got my olive oil hairspray.
woo.
Dynamic duo. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So, so let's start with the first statement. And it says, I don't need to admit when I'm wrong if it might damage how others see me. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Okay,
Oh,
ready?
yes.
So, where do we start? Where do we start? I would first say like it's difficult sometimes to admit when you're wrong in a situation. It's like sometimes, especially if you've been like, I promise you, I tell you, or if actually the thing was on your side and unexpectedly it's gone complete left field. Um, However, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't come from a place of telling the truth. Even when I think of the fact that not lying is also one of the Ten Commandments, the scriptures say you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, which really, for what this statement says, if you've done wrong, you now don't want to lie. And I think even like when it comes to lying against like lying and changing the truth or adjusting the truth, all of it's manipulation. Tell people the truth, even if it makes you look bad. Tell people the truth, especially because sometimes in telling the truth, others will step and be up and be like, wow, that's really giving me the confidence to share my truth. Or they can say, like, oh my gosh, we can get you help, we can get you support. You're not the only one going through this. You just never know where your truth telling can take you. Now, also saying that you might tell the truth and some people might look at you differently, but then you have to question, who are you in my life? Why do you have this kind of influence over me? And if you see me in another way and you're not someone who's close to me, then you need to maybe like reduce contact, remove them from your life, whatever the thing is. And then from the other side of that, you might actually be doing something wrong as well. So then you have to check yourself too. It's a whole set of things. The main point is please don't lie. Don't lie.
100%. Just like you said, I think it's quite a broad script spectrum as to why people do this. It could be fear Again, like you said, of how people can see you, consequences to the action that you have done, said, whatever the case may be, or it could be a thing where you've got pride. Or you don't want it to be that other people see less of you or think less of you. It could be a controlling issue. You want to control narratives and things like that. It could also be embedded in trauma. There's so many things where people back in the day have maybe done something to make somebody feel less than. So moving forward, that person's like, I don't ever want to feel less than ever again. I don't ever want anyone to see me vulnerable ever again. So what I'm gonna do is this. I think it's such a broad spectrum as to why people do things or why people act the certain way. But like Shanova's saying, it's wrong. At the end of the day, if you have done something wrong, you should say. And also, you can't control narratives. You can't control how people see you, interact with you. So I do think on a wider level, I feel like it can be a control issue across the board of how people see you, how people interact with you. But that's not being Christ-like. We know that we should really be living in dependence of the Lord. So if we're in control of what's going on or how people perceive you, or even when you've done something wrong, the outcomes of that, that means you're living by your own understanding. That means you're not even allowing the Lord to do the work in you, and therefore you're not going to grow. So I think definitely, well, definitely is a red flag for me.
Yeah.
But you will not grow. You cannot grow from that place. And also it makes you not want to listen to people. Because in that correction comes when you're saying, this is what I've done wrong. People, you open up a space for people to correct you and say, all right, cool. This is where you need to do, or this is what you need to do to get from A to Z. But if you're not even doing that, then you're not allowing correction to come. You're not allowing truth to be seen or to be heard. And yeah, it's just a whole thing. So no, absolutely not. It's not right.
And I completely agree with you. And I think when you're trying to um control the narrative and things, you take out the point that actually your reaction to the situation also controls the narrative as well. So you don't have to react in that way. You don't have to make it show, you don't have to make it personal. Like sometimes it's like, do you know what? Let me step back and bow out. Let me be silent. Let me pitter patter on the floor. Let me walk slowly on the floor. And sometimes that is the best reaction to give to a situation
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah. Do not be afraid to speak the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because genuinely, I think fear is at the root of a lot of these things. I think fear, I think pride, those two things. Yeah, it's either fear or pride. Yeah. Because genuinely speaking from a person where I'm still walking through it, but caring what people think about you. So then you try to control the narrative of what people see or perceive about you when really you can't because A, the Lord will show people, but also B, you're doing a disservice to yourself because you're not allowing yourself the freedom to be seen as well. Because, okay, yeah, let's say people are seeing you, but you yourself is like, I'm in this cocoon. And I'm saying this because I'm literally speaking from experience. I think it's so important to not be afraid that the Lord loves you regardless. Like he loves you regardless. And I think one thing I'm realizing that you would probably be surprised by people also. Like you'd be surprised because if Shaneva was saying like the Lord puts people around you, and if they're acting a certain type of way, then maybe they're not supposed to be there in that moment. So let's see. Like sometimes just step out in faith and be like, okay, guys, this is what it is, and see where you go from there. Yeah. So the next one is serving others quietly without expecting recognition is a sign of humility. I don't think so.
What? Really? Serving
Yeah,
wait. Serving others quietly
without expecting. Okay, hold on.
without wait.
Without
Wait.
expecting
We can
recognition.
disagree. We can disagree and then let's see where we go.
Maybe I read the question wrong
Without
because you know what I read?
expecting.
Serving others quietly is a sign of humility. I didn't see the expecting recognition. So let me
You
let
see
me
people
go.
without recognition. I don't
Yeah. All
recognition.
right, let me go back. Okay, I have green. So I will go back. I have green. However, I have thoughts on this as well.
You go for it, girl.
I
Go.
have thoughts. So the serving others quietly without expecting recognition, it can be definitely a sign of a good thing because you're like, okay, Lord, you, you take control. This all this glory belongs to you. Do you know what I mean? I do think sometimes that it can be a little bit. So, for example, if somebody is serving somebody, right, without expecting recognition, know that the Lord also wants you to get recognition. It can be, it can, let me really think about what I'm saying. Because why do you not expect recognition? I mean, don't get me. Hmm. Okay, do you know what? Shinova, take the floor. Let me bake my idea as I'm
Okay.
coming. Because there's a little bit of me, I'm like, okay, I'm coming.
Okay. Okay. I would say I agree. And I think I was thinking from the perspective, there's a lot of times that we serve and people in our community serve, and there's no expectation of anything. I'm not expecting you to give me anything. I'm not expecting you to thank me. I'm not expecting you to clap for me. And I think it's from the perspective of because I'm doing this unto the Lord. Because Jesus and even like doing it with excellence, all the things, because Jesus is my savior and he's my leader. I'm doing it from that perspective because I want the Lord's name to be glorified. I want this experience to be the best it can be. I want to do my best in this place. However, I will say that if you're in a place where you can recognize people for who they are and for what they're doing, I think it is good to do that too. And I don't think it's every single day. Like, okay, so like I'm just thinking of an example, right? There have been times when because someone has done something nice for me, I've gotten them a gift, right? As well as hopefully as everyone has done. Please, if you listen to this and you never got a gift for someone that's helped you, please. Anyway, this is so thing. But yeah, I've gotten people a gift, and this is not a thing because like, oh, I'm doing it, it's a whole show moment. No, it's more of a thing of like I recognize the sacrifice, I
Mm,
recognize the opportunity, I recognize who you are, and what you have given and stuff to me in this moment. So I just want you to know, like monetarily, or I want you to know with this gift, or I want you to know even like with your words of affirmation. I want you to know that I appreciate you. Yeah, so I think from that perspective, I'm thinking about um from the perspective of like giving as well as the serving part. But yeah, sometimes understand that you, especially, no, okay, I'm just thinking if you go in serving, hoping for recognition, as well, you can end up being really disappointed. And then you have to also check your heart and think, like, why did I come here in the first place? So, for example, let me give an example, right? Let's say you're going somewhere and you heard, oh, yeah, last year when everyone did it, they all got this gift, right? So, okay, I've just thought of an example. So, when Oprah back in the day used to do her you get a car, you get a car, you get
mm,
those famous
mm,
episodes, right?
mm,
Those people who were always in the congregation, they always used to find people who used to serve on a really high like level in their communities and stuff like that. And they were like nominated to be there. So they all thought they were going in just for a normal Oprah episode before they got the opportunity to be on the Oprah show. It's not until they got there, then you would see the little bauble thing like come out and be like, favorite things, we're going to Australia, you're gonna get a car, all of those sort of things and stuff. And then all the
mm,
other gifts they were getting too. But they
mm,
didn't serve with the expectation that at some point somebody is gonna give me a clap. Someone's gonna give me a pat on the back. No, they serve because they're like, this is where my heart is. This is what I see the need for whatever this thing is that I'm doing and stuff. And I really hope these people get the help, get the support and stuff because of the work that me and the others are doing and stuff. And I think it's recognizing, especially when you're coming from that place, that you might never get recognized. Like for
mm,
everyone who gets an MBE, BME, whatever and stuff, there's a whole set of people who are doing a lot of work who get nothing. There's
mm.
a lot of people who are helping and serving and pouring out the hearts and sacrificing who get nothing. So I don't know if I've exactly answered the question because I haven't spoken exactly of the sign of humility part, but hopefully that makes some sense.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And as you were talking, I was able to make my make my thought. I think the only thing that stood out to me is that just because you are not expecting, it doesn't is not an indication of your heart. So for example, I can know that okay, so I can be in a situation where I know this person in front of me is a tyrant. You ain't gonna give me nothing. But in my heart, I'm like, well, I know you're a sucker. And if it were. So I guess for me, I think maybe what I thought in this, because I could be overreading it to be honest with you, could be heart posture as well. So just because I'm not recognizing or expecting something doesn't mean my heart posture is in alignment with humility. It could mean different things. It could mean that okay, I've just resigned myself to the fact that I'm not going to get it. But in my heart I know that, well, to be honest, I'm deserving of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, to that point, just because you are recognized and just because someone does go out of their way to give you an award or to recognize your work and stuff, that doesn't now mean that you are now not humble because you've gone and received that for the work that you've done,
Hundreds.
as well. So we don't want people going around being like, oh, as a sign of my humility, da da da. But I think even when I'm saying it, I'm thinking about like Mother Teresa and the sacrifices that she made. And like I remember, look, you'll need to fact check me on this if I get this wrong, but I remember hearing about her being in hotel rooms and stuff and choosing to sleep on the floor. Like we don't know the conversation she was having with the Lord, and why humility and stuff look like that for her. So
Mm,
I think like for each and every one of us, we have to have that conversation with the Lord of like, okay, because sometimes the Lord's like, yeah, don't take this award, and you're like, but like why? But like why? But it could be a bigger reason. It could be what the award symbolizes. It could be like there's all sorts of things. So it's about having that conversation with the Lord, or the Lord being like, actually, no, you don't take this award because I know what's gonna do to you. I can literally see the trajectory you're gonna go into, and how
yeah.
like pride is gonna step in. Your humility is going to be stripped. Everything that you were going for, now you'll all look at me. I'm macho girl, I'm macho man, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think we just have to continue to stay in check with the Lord about like where am I at? What does this look like? Am I going, is it going to my head? But then receive things graciously. If people want to gift you things, receive it graciously. Thank you.
Yes, and that too is humility.
Yes, that's the point. That's the point. Anyway, because that's a whole other subject. But yes, yes, yes,
100%.
yeah. Okay, so the next one is I should always downplay my talents and achievements to avoid seeming prideful. Three, two, wait, should I say it again?
No, 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 I caught it.
Oh, okay. Three, two, one. This, guys,
What?
guys. Okay.
Oh
So
dear.
it really isn't. I think we can talk a little bit about false humility. I think let me just grab the definition of that before I speak about it, to make sure I'm saying the right thing and stuff. But false humility, is the act of appearing humble while inwardly harboring pride of self-interest, downplaying achievements or abilities in a way that seeks validation or praise, pretending to be modest to gain favor, attention, or advantage, or acting with outward humility while internally feeling superior. And I think by downplaying your talents and achievements, you're actually robbing the world, society, your community, your church of the things that you could be doing to support people, to do um different things that can help other people. Like I think about Daniel and the talents that him and the other Hebrew boys had. And if they had downplayed completely, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, they would not have been seen as the smartest in the kingdom. They wouldn't have been seen as so knowledgeable. They wouldn't have been seen as worthy. And then on top of that, the extra gifts that you had, the amount of times in the Bible that people were called on, Daniel, when you think about Daniel and oh, his name's gone out, Joseph, being called,
Mhm.
oh, wait, we need a dream interpreter. What if you were like, oh, do you know what? Even though I speak to God every day, I'm just gonna rest right here. And
Yeah,
he was like, get up. What are you doing? Get up, because this is your breakthrough. This is the moment that you need to step up to show that you can do what I have assigned you to do. This is the moment where you show in the marketplace that actually you have the skills, you have the talents, and the fact that you're already walking in step with me is brilliant, which means that you are going to be led by me in that space. So I think if we end up like downplaying our talents, our achievements, and what we're good at and stuff, we can end up just robbing people of being able to see our brilliance, being able to see the what the Lord has put in you, who you are, what the Lord has grown into you. If you're a great dancer, if you're a great singer, sing and dance, bro. Sing and dance. If you're good, go and teach others how to sing, how to dance, and stuff like that. Isn't that what a teacher is though? Like even when I think about it, a teacher is someone who your talent in an area is so good that you can now show others how to do it. Um,
100.
So like, yeah,
Uh,
I just think it's a bad idea. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a don't downplay your achievements. I think sometimes we have to read the room and read the space, and discernment is important in those areas because sometimes you walk into the space and you're smiling with everyone, you could recognize that something is just not right. Like my spirit is not
Mhm.
settled, and there it feels like there's some jealousy, or people can say or behave in a way you realize, I think they're a little bit jealous of me. So in those moments, I think it's just to continue speaking to the Lord and being careful, because what you don't want to do is someone's gone and said or whispered a thing behind your back, or even like when people say things like, oh, come break a leg and stuff, they could actually mean it. They could mean they want you to break your leg. To be honest, some people might want you to actually break your leg. So, like I'm saying, in all of these moments, you need discernment. You need to continue speaking to the Lord. But then also there's the other side where you can end up going so far to the right, where you actually do come across as prideful. You actually do come across as big-headed, like you know everything and things. And we just have to continue keeping in check with ourselves and keeping in check with our hearts. Like even what Akilia was saying about heart posture before, and just being like, Lord, it's something. And let me make this clear, right? We all have moments where sometimes we're on the prideful side, sometimes we're on the false humility side. Sometimes, like, I'm not saying we're always going to be in that place of humility for sure, for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, but we can still like the thing is to catch it early and to have that conversation with the Lord and maybe to have that conversation with your community so you can stomp that thing out quickly and just be like, do you know what? This is not who I am. This is not what I represent. Let's put this thing to rest. I feel like pride becomes a problem when you let it fester. False humility becomes a problem when you let it fester. So yeah, yeah.
100%. So for me, seven, when it says downplay your talents, that's pride. Let's just put this out here. If you're downloading, that should have said, listen, if
Yeah.
you're downplaying, sorry, your talents and achievements to avoid seeming prideful, that in itself is pride. Because again, you're trying to control the narrative of how things are seen. You don't want the Lord. Like, imagine if the Lord is like, I need a person to see this through you, and you're withholding that thing because you're like, well, I want it to look like this. Nah, that's pride because you've determined the outcome of the thing rather than allowing the Lord to have his way through you and through your talents. And the thing that came to my mind is the story the Lord Jesus was saying about the talents and the things he gave his servant. The one that decided, I'm not going to do anything, I'm going to do things in my own strength and in my own way, he took it away. He said, excuse me, I've given you something and you've decided you're going to control how you're going to see things, how you're going to move and operate in the thing, rather than allowing the thing to multiply, rather than showing people what it's all about. You've determined, and because of that, I'm going to take it away. It's a serious thing. If the Lord has given you a talent, he wants to do a work through you in people's lives with the thing. And if you've decided that it's going to look a particular way or you want the narrative to be a certain way, he's not going to be pleased with that. So that is definitely a red flag and it's definitely for me pride.
Yeah. And I'll add to that as well, the achievement side of it. Like sometimes some rooms they need to know your achievements for you to even be in that room. So like once people have come, they've given you accolades, they have clapped you on the back, they've said well done, they have good things to say about you, they give you reviews. Do not be afraid to use those things. Do not be afraid to put those things out there. Do not be afraid to say like this is what I've achieved, this is what I've done and stuff. And I think as well, you put those things out there because that can attract more people to you, to the work that you're doing, to the things that's happening in the kingdom and stuff like that. Please, like don't hide those things away. Be like, oh, but da, 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 da. Some people they'll just never know. They'll be like, oh, I'm looking for this specific thing. They walk straight past you because they didn't even know you could do it. And do you know what just came to mind? What do you think a job is as well? What do
Mm,
you think a job is? It is
mm,
you using your talents
mm.
in the workplace.
Imagine I can't type because I don't want people to see my typing skills.
Ah, good. Come on, please, please, guys. If you're good at science, please go and do your science work. I don't know what scientists do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Please go with your
Yeah.
pipettes and do the science. Uh,
Honestly, and as you were speaking, Shaneva, what came to my mind is let's look at Jesus. He walked in boldness. He didn't say like, and that was true humility. When people say, who are you? And he goes, oh, this is the temple that is gonna be torn down and be rebuilt in 3 days. Like, excuse me, who's this person talking? He was saying truth, and so people probably thought he was this way, cocky, pride, but actually he was walking in truth. And the truth is something that the Lord wants to use. So we can't be the truth of the matter is you're skilled. The truth of the matter is you're talented. So allow the truth of the matter to remain, not to take it into your own hands and say, oh, what are people gonna think about me? My friend, shine. That's what the Lord has called us to be. He said a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. You can't be walking in all this false humility and saying, I want to be hidden when the Lord is like, I've called you to shine. It doesn't make sense. And that in itself is humility. And I remember in a service, they broke it down of what humility is power under control. You have power, but the power, you're literally allowing the Lord to dictate how that power is shown, how that power is revealed. So if you're dictating it, my friend, that can never be humility. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And even like even when it comes to, I don't remember the point.
That happened to me. I
Wait,
was like, blank, blank, blank. Why?
forget it. Forget it.
So number four is sorry, number no, yeah, number four is it's important to seek feedback from others, even if it might hurt my pride. All right. Three, two, one. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. This one, green flag, green flag, green flag. I think it's definitely important for you to hear what people have to say. What just came to my mind is iron sharpens iron. My friend, you can't be sharpened in isolation. You need people to tell you things. And the process of sharpening is literally the grinding of things together, like literally the grinding of two pieces of metal to make it more sharper, more effective in what it needs to do. And so sometimes feedback can hurt. Sometimes feedback isn't very nice. But what is happening in that moment? Things are dying. Things are being revealed. Things are being exposed. You're coming out of your comfort zone. You know, there's always that saying of things never grow in comfort zones, and it's true. Like if you want to grow, you're going to have those uncomfortable conversations, those things that hurt. You know, we also talk about the word being a mirror. The reason being is because you're going to see things that you're not going to like. So the same way the word is a mirror, the Lord can use people to speak to you, to speak into your situation. And you may not like it. Your pride may be hurting, but guess what? Your pride is dying. That's why it's hurting. Because your pride is like, oh, you know what? I've been doing it my way, or I like the way I've been doing it. And in this moment, it's like, actually, no, control needs to be taken away. Pride needs to be taken away. The way you see things isn't always accurate. And I think that's another good thing where you might look at something and see a particular path, and somebody else can see a better way to do something, a faster way to do something, a more effective way to do something, and you need to listen. You know,
Yeah.
the Lord is talking about not forsaking your community, not forsaking the fellowship of the brethren. There's a reason because you need people around you, not just for the community feel of things, but actually to help you to become sharper, to help you to be more precise in what you say and what you do, to help you be more Christ-like. So for me, it's definitely very, very important to seek feedback, even if your pride hurts, because I feel like in those moments your pride is dying when it
Yeah.
hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree, and I think like exactly what Akila's saying about the whole idea about refinement. And I think actually, if it's hurting your pride, you didn't realize you were prideful in that area. So, for example, if you're getting feedback from someone, and they're um younger than you, and your whole thing is about, oh, but I've been doing this for so many years, so you're now using the amount of time that you've done as a platform, it's becoming a prideful thing of how long you've been there. But actually, like, systems keep moving, things keep changing. Are you even updating what you're learning? Are you seeking more knowledge and things? So sometimes we really have to step back, and like that can be difficult for people if the person's much younger than you, if the person's newer in and they bring in some ideas that you never even thought of. But actually, if we come from a place of like, we're gonna come in from collaboration, we're gonna come in, I want to learn from other people, I want to learn from people from different perspectives, different backgrounds, I want to be refined in that way, then we allow people to come in and to say things that allows the work to be done. And I think with all these things there's a line, because if it gets to the point where you're being so highly criticized by someone, there's no constructive feedback in what's being given, then you need to like be like, don't know if this is right. You're now coming for everything that about me. You're now, it's not just a thing of like, oh, your hair looks a little bit messy today, girl. What's going on? Da, da, da. Have you tried this gel? Da, 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 da. It really works on me, blah, 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 blah. No, it can now
Mm,
become a thing of, oh, your hair always looks bad.
mm,
It just like it just makes you look bad. Ah, that's not constructive. That's not very helpful.
100.
And I think at that point you have to check, be like, maybe you shouldn't be around me because this is not constructive. This is not helping and stuff. There's something that you're enjoying about bringing me down in this. So yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think the line to get to there is usually a lot further than people think. And stuff as
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Just when you were saying that, I think you need to, if people are not building you up as well as giving you this feedback, then you need to run them out. If they're constantly tearing you down, like Shernorva was saying, yeah, run a mile because I think you'd be able to discern, nah, like, am I always doing something wrong? There's never anything good to say about me. There's never anything that I can be proud of. Yeah. And if you need to ask somebody, run it past somebody, because I think like you said, the line is very fine where you're like, this is feedback that is good criticism, and this is just criticism.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Now
yeah.
you're just coming for me. I think definitely there is people do abuse, and church hurt is real, church abuse is real. I think, thank God, for most of us that I know, we are in situations that are good, but that's not the same for everybody. Do you know what I mean? So ask for help, ask for support if you're very unclear about somebody's intentions for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So the next one is if I don't feel appreciated for my efforts, it's okay to stop serving others. Okay, ready? Okay, ready? Go. Go.
Wait, hold on.
No, we can disagree. We can disagree. Wait, if I don't feel appreciated for my efforts, it's okay to stop serving others. Okay. Yeah. So do you want to go first or should I?
Up to you. You can go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I think in my head I was thinking this can sometimes lead to abuse. And I think like especially in places where you volunteer and you give your time, I think if people aren't appreciating the fact that you have come and sacrificed and you've given your time or you're helping someone, they can end up placing demands on you which aren't fair. Or they can end up pushing you to a space into a level that really isn't fair. And I think there's a point where you can say, do you know what, I'm giving if you're truly like not even like oh, I'm giving, and you're not really, you're there, you're just relaxing, you're not really doing much. But if you know you're actually going and giving, and the way that you're being treated isn't fair, or you're not being appreciated for the things that you do. And appreciation doesn't mean someone has to like give you something as a thank you and stuff. Appreciation can verbally be a thank you. It can be that okay, so for example, let's say you're helping looking after someone's child a couple of times a week or something. You're just doing out the goodness of your heart and stuff, there's a need, da, 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 appreciation from them could mean them like saying, "Oh, do you know what? Help yourself to some drinks and snacks in the fridge and stuff because we appreciate all the work that you're doing and stuff. You're just doing this out of your goodness of your heart." If every time they come, they're extending the time without calling you and telling you, they're changing things up, they're moving things around, they're saying, "Oh, look, she's not da 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 da." They're placing demands on you that was never specified originally. This has now gone beyond you just helping and stuff. And I think as well, like when we're coming from a place of this person is they're just helping, they're just giving their time, we have to recognize they're just helping, they're giving their time. They're not being paid for this thing. So there's a level, don't get me wrong, sometimes you pull a longer one, you do a little bit more. If that person that out just the way that they operate, they're happy to give more, that's fine. But there's a point where we have to be like, let's not expect so much from someone um as well where it'll be a bit unfair. Yeah. Yeah.
100%. And I actually agree with what you're saying. So I may turn to a yellow flag,
No,
but
no.
but the reason why I think I chose red because I feel like appreciate it could be your perception. I feel like, for example, if the Lord has placed you in a particular place and in that moment you don't feel appreciated, I don't think it's good to run away. I think it's good to stay the course, allow the Lord to do the work in you because you don't even know if He's refining you in that moment. There might be things He's trying to break off of you in terms of like what people may think, people pleasing or, even trying to um bring a sense of value and like not independence from him, but independent from what people say about you or validating you for things. Like people should come and affirm, I guess, what you already know about yourself. And don't get me wrong, I think people also come and tell you certain things that you may not know, but it shouldn't be a thing where it strays from what the Lord has told you about you, and what He's embedded in you. So for me, I feel like I understand because I think there's two spectrums of thought here where I get it, where it's like if somebody's abusing their position, yeah, there's things where people do take the mick. I do feel also
Yeah.
that you have to be understanding like where the Lord has placed you, why He has called you to that particular place. And also before you leave, you need to ask permission. Lord, should I leave? Should I go? Should I stop serving in this place because this person's doing this to me? Or what is it that I'm gaining from this? How would you like me to move here? So I feel like for me, I can sit in between those two thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the way you explained it,
Mm,
guys, I have my in the middle cup too. I've got mine too. So the way you explained, I was like, I actually didn't think of that. I didn't
mm,
think of that. Like actually, it's really is a checking in with the Lord because you have to work out. No, you have to work out. Like sometimes the Lord has you there for a reason, and it's what is being done in you. And until you get that okay and that get up and go, then you stay the course until the work that is being done in you is finished, it's completed in that season. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I remember somebody saying, I remember listening to this lady called Heather Lindsay and she was saying her story, and her boss was mean. Her boss was mean. And she was like, she'll come in and they'll be so horrible. But she stayed the course because she knew she was called there. And I think towards the end, actually, they became friends. And I think, did she give her life to the Lord? But imagine how she left and said, you know what, you are so mean. The way you're treating me is horrible. And because of this, I'm gonna go. You're not Christian anyway, because she was working for like a record label. And so she's like, you're not Christian, you don't have the values that I have. But she stayed the course because this is where the Lord had called her, and the outcome was more than she could have imagined because she was obedient to what the Lord is saying. So I think, like Shernorva said, it's the middle ground for me with both thoughts. Yeah, I think seek the Lord. Okay, so number 7, I should prioritize helping others over my personal goals, even when it's inconvenient. Okay. Three,
I should
two,
prioritize. Wait. I should prioritize
I should
helping.
prioritize help.
I should wait. I should prioritize helping others over my personal goals, even when it's inconvenient.
Actually, let's think about this.
No, on the surface, I was gonna just pick one, but then I was like,
Yeah,
I don't think there's many times when I've done that.
that's
So
what I'm thinking.
yeah,
Okay, I should prioritize helping others over my personal goals. Over my personal goals, even when it's inconvenient. Can I do yellow cop again?
guys, this isn't a cop out. I promise. We'll explain both sides. I promise.
Yeah, because I feel like okay, on the side of green, I feel like the Lord gives you, all right, He's gonna make you sacrifice certain things, and in that again, you're growing, you're learning, you're helping others, you're supporting your community. However, I don't think it should be to the detriment of yourself. I don't know if the Lord is like, I think in everything you need to ask him because I think it's, do you know what I mean? Because there might be moments where you feel like you're forgoing something or it's inconvenient for you or your personal goals may not be met in that moment, but the Lord is actually doing a work in you or realigning you or because you hear that scripture, his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. The way we think, where we're thinking A, B, C, and then Z is coming at the end or Z is coming at the end. He may not do that. He may say, okay, I need you to go from A to G and then from G back to H. And then you're like, excuse me, that doesn't make sense because I'm overlooking point B, C, D. And he's like, but hold on, I need you to do this. So I think what just came to my mind is that scripture. If any of you are lacking wisdom, I think you should ask. I think this is a wisdom thing. I think you need to know what the Lord is calling you to do in that time. There may be moments where He's like, cease this thing. Yes, it's your personal goal, but I need you to be in alignment with this thing. Yes, it's inconvenient, but I need you to be in alignment with this thing. Or it might be that He's saying to you, you know what? I need you to put this thing down. You're serving a bit too much. I need you to focus on this. I think you need to ask Him for wisdom, for strategy, in all these things, so you're able to walk accordingly as He's called you to walk. But I don't think it should be to the detriment of yourself, running yourself ragged because you're doing for others and you're not pursuing the thing the Lord has called you to do. So
Yeah.
yellow for me.
And sometimes people are they're doing, you end up sick. And that's it.
And
You're,
they're
you're
thriving.
yeah, they're fine. You did the work for them. So just they're struggling. No, I was actually thinking about David and David being appointed as king, as a shepherd, and there was so much work before he actually
Mm.
became king, and he had to serve Saul, and he had to continue doing his shepherd things and serving in his household, and he had to go and kill Goliath. Like there are so many things and fight animals. Like there's so many things that David um did where you could see it as him prioritizing other people's goals. There was things that
Husband.
really he could have been like, Lord, but can you not take me to the palace? Can I not learn under somebody? Like there were so many things that on paper it could have looked like he could have done to be able to better his position to be king. But actually what the Lord was using was all of those experiences to help shape him and mold him into what he needed to be a king. Yeah, so I think that's the example that comes to mind when I think about like I guess that's where I'm with the yellow flag sort of thing because at times, at times you are prioritizing others a little bit too much, and I think that's why, as Akilia is saying, you need to hear what the Lord is saying because just because you're serving or supporting in one area doesn't mean that the Lord doesn't want you to pick up your own mat. Or pick up the thing that he wants you to do and to start working on it and put things together and to create the thing. So when the time comes, that's when you put the thing out. That's when it's time for it to go out to those around you. So yeah, I think it's knowing like when is it the season where it's just me and Jesus and we're just staying here and we're working behind the scenes, and when is it the season for me to step out? And if the Lord has made it clear to you it's the season to step out, do not feel bad for telling people like, actually I need to step back from this, actually I need to do this a little bit less and stuff. Like I remember listening to Pastor James Aladarin, and he was talking about when he started Prayer Storm and how like the Lord just made it so clear to him about starting Prayer Storm and everything. And when he started it, he was in charge of the prayer, I think it was the prayer department in the church he was in. And he said even though he knew it was time to go, it took him a year to do the proper like transition handover. So the next person could be trained up, they could be ready, that they were ready to go. So by the time that he was like, no, I need to go. I'm not sure if it was like the Lord was just going to press someone, it was another church as well, but yeah, the story's somewhere online. But like by the time it was time for him to go, they were so like happy for him to go and to do what the Lord was calling him. And I think that is a great example of being able to serve others, even if it's inconvenient to you. Because it is the Lord gave you the word to go. You could have just goodbye everyone. Good luck. It's been fun and stuff. But actually, because he honored the house that he was under, he was like, standing up and going doesn't mean that I have to do it in a way that really creates problems with everybody, that really destroys relationships. No, like give me this time. And you have that conversation with the Lord. Lord, give me this year so I can make sure to transition properly, so I can make sure that these people are ready, and things. So by the time now he's doing things and how big Prestorm is, I'm sure that the community in the church he was in part of before is so happy for him and stuff because they know that he honored them when it came to him being able to transition over. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I think I really love the examples you used. I think to me, when you shared them, what came back to me is the Lord's leading. Like, yes, both with David, and with James Aladirin, the Lord gave them the result. Like, this is where I want to take you, but is what are the steps to get there, And it's like David he was anointed king way before he was actually sitting on a throne. Do you know what I mean? So when you use that example, I'm like, that is literally it because it's true. Because you are anointed, you're appointed, and people around you are saying, kill Saul, kill Saul, kill Saul. Excuse me, I can't kill him because the Lord said, this man is the anointed. This man. So he could have done what people said or done what people have told him to do, did what people have told him to do because it seems right. But that's not what the Lord has called you to do in that moment. Same with James Aladrin. How do you leave or transition gracefully? I just loved those examples because I think it just shows effectively, yes, you have a goal, yes, you have an end destination, but in that, like other people also are involved. So how are you now aligning yourself with the thing the Lord has called you to do, but doing it with the wisdom that He's called you to do it with? I just think that is just fantastic. Yeah, I
100%. Is it me next or is it you?
think it's you.
Okay,
What
I
did we say?
can't remember.
Eh,
No, maybe
Oh,
it
it's
was,
me.
no, it's you or is it me?
Because I think you said, should I prioritize helping others over my personal goals, even when it's inconvenient? Did I read that? Actually, I
You.
think I read that. I read that. I read that. I,
Those of you at
I,
home, you read it.
gosh, Akilah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. When I do something good, it's fine to share it with others as long as my intentions are pure. Hmm? When I do something good, it's fine for me to share it with others as long as okay, intentions are pure. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Ready? Three.
3, 2, 1.
I had to like the intentions are pure, but I had to be like, wait,
Yeah, I mean, like,
we'll
okay.
come again. We'll come again. Yeah, I think this is a great example of you checking your heart posture. When you're going to share something, when you're going to share something you achieve. I mean, we talk about social media. I know people are like up and down with social media. Where's it good? Where's bad? I share also something there. When I travel, when I have achieved something, when I'm doing something great, when I'm going to somewhere and I'm really excited about it, I share it on social media. And I know that my intentions when I share it are pure. And actually, if I start questioning, like, oh, who's seeing this? That's when I have to go back to the Lord and be like, why why are you wondering who's seen it? Why are you da 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 da? Why are you looking at da 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 da, like the whole conversation stuff? And then I have to go back to Lord and be like what was the intention of doing that? What was the intention of putting it out there if I wanted other people to see it or specific people to see it and things. And I think that's when you have to just continue checking in. So yeah, I think it's a good thing from the perspective of your intentions are pure, you're sharing your life, you're sharing your heart, you're sharing even like sharing a testimony. Even sharing a testimony is recognizing like this is me like loving on God and talking about how amazing God is and and what God has done with my life and through my life, and also recognizing that from me sharing this, like this can really encourage someone, this can really allow someone to feel like, oh, do you know what, because the Lord did this for this person, that he can do it for me too. So even in that, yeah, it's good to share good things and stuff, but I understand the statement of like checking your intentions. And I think when you then check your intentions, it's then about doing the work of like, okay, why do I feel like this, or why do I want this person to see this thing, and da, 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 or why do I want these people to notice this thing about me? And then you have to start questioning, okay, how am I actually feeling about myself? Why do I need to be validated externally? Like, and then it becomes a whole conversation with the Lord and stuff. And it might be that something else has come up and you need to just unpack that with the Lord.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it's important to know the reasons why you share things. And like you were saying, should have reflecting on why you do what you're doing. There's times I've shared things, back in the day when you wanted a certain somebody to see.
Yeah.
You wanted to communicate a message, thank God, I don't really do that now. I don't do that now, actually. Not really. I don't post anything. But back in the day, like I would post something or share something because my intention was I want you to see, you know? But what is your motives behind it? And actually, I would even say there's times when go ahead and share, even if your motives are impure sometimes. Do you know why? I'm saying this. Do you know
Ah,
why? Let
the
the
point.
Lord convict you.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
No, because sometimes people don't know what they did was wrong. And then sometimes you post it and you're like, and don't get me wrong, not to intentionally go and post bad things. Oh, please, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is sometimes you don't even realize what you're posting is bad. And then afterwards, the Lord's like, why did you do that? Or why did you post this? And it's a good way for him to convict you, or other people can see it and be like, why did you do, what was your motive in doing that? I think it stops people from hiding true motives or hiding whatever the case may be, I just feel like, yeah, just allow the Lord to convict you. Walk with him. There might be things where, as you grow with him, he's gonna flag it up to you and be like, come on now, girl. You're
Yeah.
better than this.
Hmm.
Because we've
And
been there.
yeah,
Eh?
and I think as well, with what you're saying, it's an honest conversation. Sometimes, like the Lord's like, okay, so why is it different when you do it this way versus this way? Why is it different when this person sees it versus when all these like, and then you're like, okay, let me actually be true with what I'm feeling or my emotions or how what's going on in my head or like, let me actually check myself and let me work through that so I can get to
Hundreds.
the place of just focusing and on Jesus, my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you might not even realize, oh my gosh, I'm insecure. But the Lord was like, why did you post that? And then they be like, oh, I wanted so and so to see. Why did you want them to see?
Yeah.
Because X, Y, Z. I was like, okay, so then you have a value problem.
Yeah.
Or then there's conversations. You know what I mean? So I think it's good to share when you do something good. I think have conversation with the Lord as you're doing it. I think let him reveal things to you. Because there's times when you can post something good and the Lord is like, oh, well, actually it says intentions are pure. So yes, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The next one is I can only truly be humble if others recognize and affirm me in it. Let me read that again.
Huh? Wait. I can only truly be humble if others recognize and affirm me in it.
Mm,
Huh?
exactly.
What is wrong? Then when you're like, let's read that again because have I got it
Y-
wrong? Okay.
Yeah. Are you ready? Three, two, one. Ready?
I don't even understand the statement as a statement, so I'm trying to understand. I'm
Yeah.
confused with the statement. I can only truly be humble. So
If
humility, what?
others
If others,
recognize and okay, so basically it's saying that so for me, so for example, somebody has to say to me, Keela, when you did that thing, you're really humble, and then I start believing it because you told me it. But if you don't tell me it, then I must not be doing the thing. Or I must not be it. Yeah, that's a red flag.
got
Because
confused.
yeah, because again, do you know, okay, true story. There's times when I've done something and the Lord will purposely make people not say anything because I need to stand in what He's saying about me to me in that moment. And it doesn't mean that I haven't done things well, I haven't, you know, did things the best that I could do. But in that moment, He wants His voice to be the thing that's guiding me. Does it mean that other people's voices are not going to be heard? No. But I think in that moment, it's dangerous to be tossed by the wind. And when I say tossed by the wind, people's opinions can change. Like somebody can say, oh, or their opinions might even be valid. They can look at you and say, oh, that thing doesn't look, like you're being humble when the laws are actually you standing in alignment with all that I've said that you are is humility to me. It's humility. You saying, I think I am an expert in this. I think I am great for this. That's you walking in humility. And if people say, oh my gosh, you're so conceited, that's their opinion. It doesn't mean it's true. So I think for me, that was one thing I felt, the Lord was intentional with in periods of my life of making sure people don't say anything, not because they weren't thinking it and not because I don't know for what other ever reason, but it was like, come to me, what do I think? And people talk about the audience of one. It's so true. It's like you want to please your heavenly father, and in that, people around you will definitely be pleased because as we're all trying to be more Christ-like, we're all walking and partnering with the Holy Spirit. Well, I would like to hope so. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, so it's like because I'm trying to have the audience of one, in that other people would recognize. And I think also it's about discernment. Some people will look at you and be like, this is true humility, even though it looks like bravado. And people that, maybe a bit insecure will look at you and be like, I'm not sure, because the way you said it, the way you're backing yourself, I don't like it. Well, the Lord is like, I've called you to back yourself in this way, you know? So I think for me, I definitely think being humble, and people affirming that shouldn't be the hallmark of your humility. It should literally be, does it align with with the word? Is the Lord pleased with it? Yeah, and what does he think of me? And other people will align with that. Like I said, as long as they're walking with the Lord after walking, when you have the Holy Spirit living in you, they will know. They will know. So that's my answer.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think if the statement had just said, I can be humble if others recognize and affirm it in me, then we would have been like, yeah, yeah, that's true, because you can still be humble if people recognize you, if they affirm you. However, the idea of only truly being
Mm,
humble, um, if people recognize and affirm you, I think the whole idea of like external validation and needing that to then be seen as humble, or needing that to then be seen as recognized, I think this is where the issue is. And everything that Akilah is saying about like, actually, we really do have to get to that place where we're like, the Lord is the one who affirms me. The Lord is the one who says I'm beautiful. The Lord is the one who speaks over me. And I think it even helps that when you're outside, it means that you don't sway from left to right. Like I'm thinking, like, for example, in the area of like dating and stuff. When you get to that place in your own self where you're like, I am beautiful, I believe in myself, I have gifts and talents that I can do well and stuff, like the Lord speaks that over me. And even like to a certain extent be like, do you know what, my family, my friends, like I know that they love me and stuff, that's why they're still with me, that's why they're still around me, that's why, um and when you can come from that place, then when other, like, I'm going to speak about men because I'm a female, but men, or male or female, when they come to you and they say they're interested in stuff, there's certain things like when you say it, it just doesn't do anything. It like you get to the point where it just doesn't. Oh, you're so beautiful and everything. You're like, oh, thank you so much. Because you already know that the Lord already says you're beautiful. You already believe that. You look in the mirror when you put your outfit on, you're like, yeah. And
yes.
sometimes you look in the mirror, you're like, ah, today I'm looking
Mm.
a bit raggedy. But
Yeah.
you're already able to have that honest conversation. So you telling me I am or I'm not doesn't change anything. I'm still neutral because I know who the Lord is and know what the Lord speaks over me. So I think when you get to that place where you can really say, like, the Lord already speaks over to me and I believe it, then what others are saying doesn't really change you. Now, that doesn't mean that once you grow in affection with someone, or once you've been working hard and someone now like validates the work that you've been doing and stuff, and you recognize that you don't feel that, and um feel really touched by that as well. Because there's a place for that too. But I think, like, especially that initial, like, you're just living your life and someone out of nowhere, by the way, like, guys, all sorts of, like, we've had all sorts of weird things thrown at us. I've had people say, can I marry you, for really weird reasons, and stuff. Not to go into too much detail, but for weird reasons. And I'm like, no, like, I don't know you. I don't know you. You're messaging me on social media. I actually don't know you. So like that doesn't sway me. That doesn't make me go like, oh my God, I I'm accepted. I can now be married. No, I know that. I know I can be married. I know that at some point, like I will cross paths with someone and it will be, it will align with what the Lord is saying, align with what the Lord's doing. Everything that is important to me and my values and the way that I live my life will align with his values and the way he lives his life and stuff. And it will feel God ordained. It will feel like God has
Yeah.
put his imprint on it. And that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for like the first person to smile at you and wave, or the first person to buy you a meal. Definitely not. Make your own money. Go and buy your own food. Sorry.
I think, guys, you can tell we've walked through some stuff.
Take yourself on holiday. Anyway.
Maybe one day we'll be able to share, our dating.
Anyway,
Gosh,
next one.
stories.
We've definitely been through some bits and stuff, but like we can laugh about it because like the inner work that continues to happen in Aquila,
Yes.
in people in our community, in our loved one, like the inner work that Jesus does, the person that we are today, you're seeing here, laughing, joking, the confidence, like all of that is because work has just been done and been continuing to be done. That we continue to like go to the Lord and bring things up and like put it on the table. Sometimes you think you're over something, right? So for example, let's say you feel like with pride, let's say for some reason at some point in your life you had a little bit of pride somewhere, or even false humility somewhere, and you feel like you're over it, and then something happens and it brings that thing up again. And it's not about like, oh my gosh, I thought I got over this. Life is a journey. You're going to continue going through things that will make you take you left and right, that will trigger things. So it's about you going back to the Lord and saying, Lord, actually I've just realized that this thing has come up in this way. I really want to talk this through with you. I really want to recognize this with you. Like I didn't realize this part of me or this side of me was still here, or this has now been triggered by this other thing. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's maybe research. You go, you watch some sermons, you read the word, different things and stuff to just see like what the Lord is saying and doing. So yes. Yeah, I know I think the main thing that we want you to go away with is like when it comes to humility and when it comes to standing in what the Lord has called you to do, just continue checking in with him. Continue having conversations with the Lord. Sometimes the Lord tells you to stay, sometimes tells you to go, sometimes tells you to do your talent, sometimes he tells you to leave it by the side. Let's come and do the work together in the secret place. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We hope that you've taken a lot in. We hope that it's come and done some heart work in you and stuff. We hope that you've come and agreed and disagreed with some of the things that we've said as well. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, go to marobstt@gmail.com, marobstt@gmail.com. Ask your questions. We'll try and get to it as quickly as possible. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us on Raising Kingdom Builders. If this episode blessed you, be sure to subscribe, share, and stay connected. Keep growing, keep building, and keep walking in faith. And before we go, here's a word to encourage you from Prophetess Eileen.
That we will serve God with our heart, with our soul, with our mind, and that you will make disciples of other men for the glory of God.